Hi and welcome to the channel. This week we're going to be painting the background to this portrait of Roger, making sure we get everything working. It's a real pleasure having your company. I'm Michael, portrait artist from Perth, Western Australia, and on this journey I want to share with you some of my painting techniques, how I mix my colors, show you my palette, and all the different things I go through to get a abstract realism background that'll look good but won't dominate the painting. And I'll show you some of my little secrets to making that happen, especially with the gold picture frame that you see in the background there. Hey, before we get into it, if you could hit that like, subscribe, all that good stuff, write some comments along the way, it will really help the channel grow and I really do appreciate it. So hit that subscribe and that like button, that'll be absolutely fantastic. And without further ado, let's get painting.
Well, here we are and welcome to the easel. We're about to start. This is Roger's, so I'm going to start the background now. And I'm actually going to start on the right-hand side of Roger's there. And I'll keep cutting to the palette. I've been asked a few times will I cut to the palette and show you exactly what I'm doing there. So I hope that makes it a little more entertaining for you guys. This is going to be a bit of a long video. I think it's about almost 40 minutes. Oh my goodness. If you want to skip ahead, go right ahead on that. And I say, please subscribe, like, ask any questions as they come up, as they go. It all helps to boost the channel and all that kind of stuff. That's great. Thank you very, very much in anticipation of you doing that. My hand's a little bit in the way on this first part, but it does get out of the way. I had the camera set a little bit low, but I do adjust it. There's the palette. I've pre-mixed some colors as I normally do. I haven't mixed everything, and I think that's a little bit hard, but it gives you a good starting, and you'll see as I go through, I start mixing all those colors together as well to give me all the intermediates. But look, the detail in backgrounds really does come down just to value shifts. So it doesn't matter, I looked at some great artists, you have a look, there's no detail in there. The detail is actually just their value shifts and getting the values in the right spot. And then it doesn't matter if you paint messy, scruffy, choppy, your brush stroke doesn't really come into it. Your brush stroke's really just putting textures, so something for the eyes to grip on. I think that's the most important part of this. It's something for the eyes to grip on, and that will really enhance your picture. But it doesn't matter if you paint straight lines, crooked lines, if you've got the details absolutely accurate. The person's eyes, the viewer's eyes, when they're looking at your portrait, as long as you put the values in the right spot, you are going to do really, really well. And I've called this a secret to great portraits because I really think a background can really make a portrait pop. All I'm doing now is putting in my blacks, and the blacks, as I always use, is 60% ultramarine blue and 40% burnt umber. You see those value shifts coming in. Might be a little bit hard to see on the camera. I don't know how big a screen you're actually watching this on, but those value shifts are what are really going to make it. These vertical lines on the wood paneling that he's got in the background are not actually black. So I've done black in the corners, and then I'm going to lighten it up a little bit. And the best way the next step up from black is normally burnt umber. And then you start shifting up from there. And I like to mix as I go. So this is my black. It's got a bit of burnt under it, giving that brown tone because we're looking at brown paneling. You see I'm taking little bits of my color and adjusting as I go. And I think that's really, really important. If you just look at those value shifts you're going through, that's very important. Now, you watch this line that I'm drawing down here. Look, I'm terrible at drawing straight lines. You know what? They don't care. Viewers don't care. What they care about is the values. People's eyes actually don't mind if things are crooked, not quite right. If you've got your values in the right space, their eyes will fix it for you. I say this all the time. It's I've looked at some of the great artists and some of the Russian artists that I love to look at. And when you go in there, there's one it's a train. And I'll pull it up in another video, and it's just a train on a track off in the distance, a beautiful scene. Some of you probably know it. And when you zoom in, there's actually not a train. It's just some paint smudges, but done in the right values. The eyes fix everything. Absolutely amazing. So this one, I want to give you the confidence that, I get some people that say to me, Michael, I can't paint straight lines. Well, here you go. Watch Michael paint crooked. I'm deliberately going to paint this one. Well, this is what I'm doing as a study. As you know, I'm doing the main painting for the client. But I wanted to have a look at the background with the portrait sketched in, and just to see if it'll work like I'm expecting it. So this is just a 20 by 20 inch stretched linen on, it's just a stretched linen panel here. Great to work on. Got a little bit of flex, which is great because I like to jab and move my brush around, so it adds a little bit more texture to the surface. And this is just a matter of cutting, and you'll actually see me rolling. You're actually watching that brush there. It's not, this isn't architectural drafting, this is painting. It's more sculptural. So you actually see as I do this brush, my forefinger and the thumb are actually just rolling the edge. I don't like smooth edges. Even on lines, even on something that's meant to be sharp, I still don't like it. I like, there's got to be some sharpness, but if I can make an excuse to lose that sharpness somewhere, I will. And I think that's really important. And you'll see I bounce around the canvas. That's another really important thing. I think it's a bit like, when you're a kid, you hear people going snowblind, stare at the snow too long, or, stare at the sun and you go sunblind or snowblind. And if you're staring at the same part of your canvas for too long, you can actually go blind to what's actually going on. And especially since you're only a foot away from the thing, choppy, messy brushstrokes can really start messing with you, and you may really start tempted to fix it. Now, I'll always say to people, at the start, the background is going to look wrong, the values are going to look wrong. Just trust that what you're doing is correct. Just check your values, put them in the right spot. This just comes from experience, and you'll get there. But if you walk away and you look, you'll see what's too dark and too light. That's probably the best way of doing it. I'm kind of used to it at this stage, been doing it for a while now. But I remember in the early days, I'd paint some lines like this, I'd get up and walk away, and if they look too strong to me, like they're jumping at me, that really just meant they were too dark. So then I'd just go and lighten them. It's actually easier to lighten them than it is to darken them. So if you made them too dark, give yourself a pat on the back, because life's going to be a lot easier just to run some lighter color over the top of that. Take it in small steps. And that's the great thing about mixing. You see I pre-mixed on my palette there, and I've got a nice range now to work with, so I can kind of see where I'm going. So on this right hand edge, we've got some warm wood coming in, but it's actually amazing how much blue's in it as well. It always amazes. It's like painting hands. People will think, I'll mix some yellow, a bit of red, pop a little burnt umber in there just to take that edge off, and I'm going to have some good flesh tones. It's amazing how much blue or mauve, whichever part of the world you're from, is actually in flesh tones, and you're going to see that when we come to actually paint Roger. But here's amazing how much actually blue is in that woody tone, and yet to the eyes as we build it up, it's going to look orangey and reddy and a real nice wood finish. And here you see I'm just taking my time. I like just to work and fill in the gaps of the canvas. So all I can say to you is don't fix as you go. Don't worry about trying to blend too much as you go. Just fill the canvas in. Go, okay, I've filled that spot. Where else is blank? This is a real secret to painting real good, what I call abstract realism. So realism without actually being photorealism. Photorealism isn't my thing. It is some people's thing, and hey, that's great. Go for it. Not mine. I like more this abstract realism. So I like this textural, putting values in the right spot, not worrying too much about too much detail. Let the eyes fill it all in. It's amazing. Just a little bit of detail here and there, and those eyes are going to fill it in. I got asked a question the other day, how did I get into this art? And I think I'd been doing art all my life, but I was in business, and we ran into a bit of an issue with a court case. It ran for 5 years in the Supreme Court, and I was representing myself. I'm right, they're wrong. I don't think there is an absolute right or wrong, despite going through this thing. But we end up at the end of it living in the back bedroom of my daughter's place. But during that journey of going through it, losing staff, losing business, losing aeroplanes and all the rest of all those fun toys that you build up over your life in business, I just took up art as a bit of an escape. I went back to my art, a bit of painting. And what I realized when by the way, we won the court case, we got the company back, but I can tell you no one wins court cases. Everyone's a loser. It's just a stupid thing to do. The only people that win are lawyers and fees and all the rest of it. But that's okay. I took up the art just to go back to my art, got back to painting still lifes, got back to painting portraits as a bit of an escapism from the pressure that was going on. Fell in love with it. And one thing I actually realized, how many moments I'd missed. How many just captured moments when you just pause and you're looking at a sunset or just something in a shop window catch your attention. And this was, for me, was still life. These moments that actually meant something to me. And I just started painting them and realized how many of those moments I'd missed. And when I went into portraits, some people would smile in my portraits and give me happy, what I call the happy family snaps. And I was like, don't give me that. I'm not interested. I want to see the person. So when I paint people's portraits, whether I'm talking to them over a Zoom call or, whatever social media, video conferencing we use, or whether I actually visit them in person, we chat for 20, 30, 40 minutes, just getting to know each other, and I get to know them, they get to know me. And some people I know, they're looking at me and saying, oh, I know what he's doing. He's checking my image, checking the lighting, see what my hair's doing, look at the color of my eyes. I'm actually doing nothing of that. I'm actually looking at the person, listening to the person. And I guess having run multiple companies in my life, I'm used to talking to people and I'm used to understanding people. And that's what I really want to capture, that beauty, that moment that really does speak to people, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't shift for me. That's what I try to capture. So someone comes to me, oh, we want a family portrait. We want to be happy and grinny, get the kids involved. And it's like, kids are great, but don't give me the happy family portrait shop. That's just not me. I want the moment that when people pause and they look at the portrait, it even makes someone stop who doesn't know the person. So even if you didn't know the person, you should stop and go, wow, what's that person thinking? And maybe it evokes a thought or an emotion in you. So that's really what I'm about. So here you can see that top has actually got quite a bit of blue in it, but just by putting a little bit of red into it, it's really starting to warm it up. You can see, if you have a look, the wall isn't straight, it's not crooked. It doesn't matter, nobody cares. There's a great painting, I'll try and find it for you, and it's of a pool table. We'll put it up in the next video, not this one, but I'll put it in one. And when you actually zoom in, the billiard balls are not round. That told me everything. When I realized the billiard balls weren't actually round, the pool table top, I think it's snooker actually, but the tabletop, isn't even straight. It was just, and I'm going, why is this working? And it works because of the values, and that's what happens. And look, when we paint this background in here, I'm actually not going to know whether this background is working properly. I'm going to have a good idea, obviously just from experience, but I can tell you now, it's probably not even going to look 100% because Roger's not in it. So it's going to look to you to go, oh yeah, it's coming along. But the more you add to it, and the more you add to these paintings that you do, it's not until the whole canvas is finished, not until the whole thing is finished, can you actually stand back and look and go, yes, that works. Everything, the values in the right place. Because I tell you, when Roger goes in, I might step back from that and go, oh, that looks a bit dark now, that looks a bit too light now. And all I'll be doing is just value adjustments. I won't be straightening any lines or anything. That's just not my thing. And I think it's what attracts people to look, We're not AI painting these things. We're not a computer. We're a human being. And I think that's what people like about oil paintings or watercolor paints or any kind of art. A human being has done it, and there's mistakes in there. But the viewers always fix it. They do not care. You can see me mixing different colors together there on the palette. And I just thought I'd spend a bit of time and just cut that in for you, just because I've been asked a few times, Michael, what are you actually doing on the palette? Don't just show us, painting away. Let's have a see what you're actually doing. On the other side there, you can actually see my main colors. It's titanium white. I've got titanium white there, and then I have burnt umber. Coming up from the burnt umber will be my ultramarine blue. Then I think I've got pyrrole ruben or alizarin crimson will be on there. And then I'm either using a lemon yellow or bismuth yellow, my two favorites, and then I say then my black is simply 60% ultramarine blue, 40% of burnt umber. And you'll notice all I'm doing is putting the value into the right spot. Now, color gets all the credit, but value is doing all the work. So really you could change these colors around and this painting will still work. And you see some great abstract artists do stuff like that, and they're absolutely brilliant. I want obviously the color to be the color of the wood, so I'm using that color. But it's the value that I'm looking at. I'm just looking at the value shifts. So when I talk detail and when I help people with their paintings and I talk detail to them, what I'm actually looking at is how many value shifts are we getting? Because that's the detail. The detail is in how many value shifts can I do? And sometimes, you've seen me, I mix a whole string of values up so that I've got something to play with, and if you get one of those value scale things, you can get one of those value checkers, and I think there's 10 values that go, 1 to 10, starting from black and then go to basically the white. But there's a lot more than that, and that's why I say sometimes I have a bit of fun with myself, and I'm working with people, and I go, okay, let's get a photograph, and we'll get a photograph of somebody, and we'll pick a color like a forehead. And I'll say, right, how many value shifts can we get in here? It's a value. Most, some artists, you'll hear them say, I'm doing a color study. They're actually doing a value study. That's really what they do. They say color study so you kind of understand it because it's colored paint going down. But the actual artists themselves, they're checking values. And this is really important. So we have a competition of how many values we can find in, say, somebody's Roger's forehead, for instance. It's amazing. Sometimes you find 16, 20, 26, 30. It's amazing how many value shifts. That's the detail. So really what you're doing is not a color study, it's a value study, and having that bit of a competition in how you can do the values is really, really good. So this is a really interesting thing. So when you understand it's the value, not the color, and the details in the value, what you would do is you'd in his forehead, and we'll go to this later, and you see what I've done on the wood paneling there. All I've done is gone, what is the value shifts coming down? Now I got a pretty good idea what the value shifts I'm looking for, but that's all I've done. I'm going, okay, that value will go there. What's one step away from the value? And by step I mean if you've got one of those value checkers, you can look at the 10 steps, and I will go, okay, I'll make this slightly light. So I'm working from dark to light. So I'll make this slightly lighter. I'll have a look at it and I'll go, I need it to be in this browny, reddy, bluey, whatever color I'm looking at. And I'll change it to that and I'll lock it down and go, that's that value. So the secret is get the value right first. So I play a game with people. I get them to say, right, let's get a photograph of somebody. They're the easiest to learn from, because having someone sit for hours while you play this game is a bit of a stretch for them. So what we do is we go, right, let's find the value. So I don't care what color's on your palette. We'll try and get it close, obviously. We're doing fresh colors, easy. Bit of yellow, bit of red, get it that orangey look. Put some brown in it to knock the intensity off. But the first thing we're going to do is then go, is it the right, forget color. You've got a bit of an idea what colour you're going for, but what I'm saying is forget colour and go, can I match the value? Can I make my paint as light or as dark as that on that particular part of the forehead? And just pick a part of the forehead. Normally around the hairline will start where it's a little bit darker. And what I'm saying to you is see if you can match the value, because it's no use trying to match colour first because it'll just throw you right out. if you can get the value down first and go, oh, my value is the same as that, and that's easy. Put a bit of paint on the picture, put some laminate over the picture, and there's quite a few people talk about this. Put that on there, and then just squint your eyes, and if it disappears, it's good enough. Then when you've got the value right, all you then do is say, right, let me have a look at the color, move around a little bit. You might have a bit of glare, and sometimes on laminated photos, we haven't got perfect lighting, and it doesn't matter. Even if you've got perfect lighting, sometimes glare does happen. You'll see some glare on my palette there, quite annoying for the camera. For me, I'm just moving my head slightly and it disappears. So it's as simple as that. So I really don't blame my tools. I'm not one of those people who go, you've got to have it perfect or you can't paint. What a lot of rubbish. That's terrible. That's just a poor tradesman blames his tools. Don't do that. So you get the value right. Then when you get the value right on the... I get my artist friends to shake their head at me. Once you get the value right on, say that's part of the forehead, you go, then all you're going, I'll check the colour now, see if I've got the colour that matches the forehead. So lock the value down. Now it's really easy to see the colour. So if we have a look at colour, you start at the top, which is blue. So we'll stay at the top and we'll go, okay, a blue. Don't worry about ultramarine and all the fancy. Just call it, I use ultramarine. It's a good colour. I think a lot of artists use ultramarine. It's got a good range and we can manipulate it. So we go, there's ultramarine at the top. Now, is mine more blue or is the colour on the actual photograph more blue? If I can't answer that question, I move on to the next one. Now, the halfway, if we go blue and we go to the right, then we're going down to a red. And red and blue mixed together makes us purple. So I'll just say, okay, my next colour shift as I come around this colour wheel is purple. And I will say, okay, is mine more purple or is theirs more purple? That's all I'm asking. If I can't answer that question because it's not in the purple range, I will go, okay. I'll go to red and I'll say, is mine more red or theirs more red? Now I might start to get an answer. If mine's more red, we know the opposite to red is green. So we'll just put a bit of green into the mixture and that'll knock our red out. If theirs is more red, I know I need to add more red to mine. Simple as that. Let's say it wasn't red. The next one is brown or burnt umber is what I use. And really that's just dark orange. If we had a red and a yellow, which is next in line, and we mix those two together, we could get a dark orange going on. So that's what burnt umber is. We treat that as a dark orange. So it's the next one. So I say, is theirs more brown? Forget burnt umber, forget the fancy letters, names. And you'll see Andrew Tischler do this. You'll see Mark Carter do this. You'll see... I'm just thinking of the guy in France that I really like, great watercolor artist. His name just slips me. But yeah, you'll see them do that. And all they're doing is mine more brown or is theirs more brown? Is my paint more brown or is the picture more brown? And depending on the answer, if theirs is more brown, add more brown. If mine's too brown, the opposite to brown is blue, because brown's on the bottom and blue's on the top, so add a bit of blue and that'll knock that out. Now we come around to yellow. Is mine more yellow? Is theirs more yellow? And yellow and blue is the next one from yellow is going to be blue as the main primary colour, but in the middle is green. Yellow and blue make green, so I can say is theirs more green, mine more green. If theirs is, by the way, if it's yellow, we're going to add red, yes. So if theirs is too yellow, we'll either red or red and blue to make a bit of a purple and knock out the yellow. If theirs is more yellow and mine needs a bit more yellow, I add a bit more yellow. Okay, so the next one from that is then the yellow to the blue, so halfway between, and it's green. I simply ask, is mine more green or theirs more green? Depending which way, depends if mine's too green, add some red. That's a great way to do your green on stuff. You add red and it'll neutralize the green. If theirs is more green than mine, then I'll just mix a bit of yellow and blue together and add that green mixture in until I shift it. And then the next one obviously is blue. So get the value right, and then simply go around that. You can write this out. I think you get color wheels that are done like this. I know Mark Carter's got one. I'm pretty sure that Andrew Tischler, Tisch's got one. Quite a few of the guys have got them. And you can write this out yourself. You go blue. Is mine more blue? Theirs more blue. Is theirs more purple? Mine more purple. Is theirs more red? Mine more red. Is theirs more brown? Mine more brown. Is mine more yellow? Is theirs more yellow? Is theirs more green? Is mine more green? And is theirs more blue? And you're back to blue. And it's as simple as working it around that. Get the value right. And there you go. Then you can just simply work on the color next. Now, as you add certain colors, either lighten or darken stuff. Now, if you're like me on a limited palette, there's only two ways to darken. That's more blue or more brown. So you've got to ask yourself which way you want to shift it. It's got to go darker. Just ask yourself which way you want to shift it. In flesh colors, we're probably adding more brown. But sometimes we do add blue because we got a blue tinge. So you just got to ask yourself which way you want to shift it before you actually darken. All I'm doing there, by the way, with the brush is just brushing the side of the canvas just so it wraps around a little bit, so it's got a bit a neater finish there. So you see I'm just playing with my colors now. I want a little bit of, I think I put a bit of blue into that. So even though it looks brown, it may look brown, it's actually got some little bit of blue in it, just darkening it up because I thought it was too light, too stark a transition there. And there you see the purpley colors coming in. But they actually start looking red. It's amazing when you put stuff next to them. So it's just a matter of just trusting yourself here, and you'll see that range that I've got that I actually mix up. And I just fill in the canvas. I just treat it, that I've just got to fill it in. I'm not trying to do paint by numbers, so I'm certainly not filling in lines. You'll notice my lines are quite all over the place. But that is that texture. That's that fun. That's that abstractness, and let their eyes fix it. That's my attitude. And their eyes do fix it, and their eyes enjoy it, and it gives them something longer to linger on. Now, the good thing about this is we're trying to paint a background here that is all about Roger, and I just want Roger to look good. So the background, whilst it is important, we got to make it important, but we can't have it take center stage either. We can't have it dominate the painting. And I think that's what you've just got to be conscious of. So a bit more subdued colors, less saturation in your colors, which really just means if it's a green, put some red in it and kill it off. If it's an orange, add some brown in it and kill that orange off. Make them dirty colors would be a good way of calling them. Dirty colors. No clean colors in the background, because that will kill your painting. So if you're doing portraits and you've got some background, don't use clean colors. Use dirty colors and kill it off. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to work on this gold picture frame. Now, there's actually no gold. Gold is actually quite a greeny looking color. But the first thing I'm going to do is just map out some darks. Because if I can get the darks going in here, and you see that almost purpley color, so it's definitely not black. If you put black on this picture frame, there's no black in that. The black is right in the far edges and the corners where they disappear. But as soon as I come in, there's no more black. And you can really see the contrast there between that black that's in that bottom corner and this purpley color I'm putting in. But this will work. Once I get the lighter colors next to it, this will start looking darker. But it'll work. And what we're doing, we're using the technique that landscape artists use. So if I'm a landscape artist, and say I've got a green tree in the foreground, and then I want some green bushes further backwards, then between me and the green trees in the background, or the green bushes in the background, they may be the same color, and I want that same color, but I want to lose the intensity. Well, between me and them is air. So I would paint a sky color, the light blue, and I would put a little bit of the air in that green mixture, a bit of that blue in there, and that will actually desaturate that, and as well as making it lighter at the same time. And it's a great way. So we know if things are in the background, they're definitely the darkest darks at the front, the lightest lights at the front, and then all the rest are desaturated and muted. So that we just use that as a technique, and you see I'm just mixing some other stuff up there, and I get these little dark corners, so little dark accents in here. And look at those squiggles. They're just marks. Don't get precious, but don't make the marks too big and too bold. Take the black out, make them a little bit lighter, and then don't get too precious about it. Just put them in where you think these little edges are going. Now, obviously, I've got memory for picture frames, having painted a few, so I've got a bit of an idea that square edges, squiggly edges. Look at those lines coming down. You will get these lines. They actually make no sense whatsoever when you look at them like this. I'll just grab a drink, guys. So, very, very nice. I really like this. And you see, I'll just start mixing up my colors now. This picture frame is really what I wanted to show you, just to show you the magic of what having the right values can do without having to be, look, I'm not a maestro painter. I can't paint straight lines. I can't do this. No, you don't have to. Once you understand value, it's amazing what you can get away with. And this I really wanted to show you in this background. And the same with the lamp on the other side. I think when I finished the lamp on the other side, that stem looks a bit thin. I'm looking at it now and even going, that's a bit thin. But we'll fix that a bit later. We won't worry about it now. We'll wait till the painting's finished and we'll see if it matters. That's the important thing. All I'm doing now is just changing the value or changing the lightness and the darkness of the paint. And just putting in the marks, very small marks. Because remember I said detail? So this is a gilded gold frame. It's got lots of detail, lots of little curves, lots of little edges, catching light, losing light, lost and found edges. It's got a lot going on in it. So you don't have to paint it. You don't have to have a frame in front of you to know this. You can just imagine one and go, oh yeah, it's got a little mark there. And that's all I'm doing. I'm just sitting back and going, there's a mark there, there's a mark there. And I'm just popping these marks through the place. And all I'm doing is just change. Look how small the mark I'm making. I'm just going, okay, there'll be a little double there. Let's move off there. And you see I'm just working my way up the values chain, working from dark to light. And look, I'm just tapping those marks in. That's a number 6 filbert that I'm using, one of my favorite brushes. I'm either a 5 or a 6. And some people would say, well, this is really delicate work. I might get out my little pointed round. Don't do that. If you use this number 6 and a bigger brush, and look, it's not a skill set, what it's actually doing, it's smudging. It's actually smudging my colors that I'm putting in on my values. There's that glare. See, for me, I just move my head in it, and I can't see it from where I am. So sorry about that for the camera, but that's okay. Don't worry about things like when you paint. Just tilt your head to one side and the glare will disappear, and you just concentrate on your painting. So by having these value shifts go on, and by these little dabs and by this bigger brush, as I'm pushing, and you hear me say this all the time, that lighter color is going into the darker color because the bristles spread out a little bit. And when I pull, and you see that pull motion, the darker color is pulling into that lighter color. So I don't have to worry about blending. And I think that's really, really important. So many people get hung up on stuff and, they're trying to make things perfect. So don't do that. The less perfect it is, paint. I think Mark Carter said paint ugly. He's a famous portrait artist in the US. Hi, Mark, how you going? But yeah, don't worry about perfection. The less perfect you are, the rougher you are, the better it's actually going to look. Paint ugly, Mark Carter's words, not mine. But I love it. And you learn from everybody, And I saw Tish, Andrew Tishley, from Perth, where I am originally. Now he's in New Zealand, great guy. But when you zoom in on some of his work, and he's often saying, he loves his work, stand back and it's magical. You walk up to it and he wants you to know it's a painting, and you can certainly tell it is a painting. I'm just using my little finger. There's a bit of a guide. That line is not straight, but when I finish this, the viewer's eyes are going to fix that up for me. No worries. So I don't have to worry about things like that. It's amazing what you don't have to worry about in painting. As long as you see these little tiny marks. I'm just putting little tiny marks in. Excuse me, I just need a drink, guys. So yeah, look, if you've got any comments, put them down below. If you'd like to ask me a question, put them down below. Always happy to answer. Don't forget, give me the likes and thumbs up as well. There's a bit of a reward. And this is just me, and you just see how easy that is. And that if you look carefully, you will now go, that's not straight. And you know what? When this is finished, it won't matter. No one will care. guys, I'm probably painting this maybe a little bit rougher than I normally would to make a point, but probably not really. It's how I'd normally paint. There's my white glove holding my little paper towel to brush my paint off. I'm quite often using dirty brushes. I've got 2 for darks, 2 for mid-tones, by the way, and 2 for my lights. In between there, I'm just giving a wipe on paper towel, and I don't, and you see I'm mixing so many different values together now. You kind of get used to what you're looking for and what you're looking at. So this frame is just about finished, I'm not very far off it at all. It'll be a few highlights, and the magic of oil painting really comes into not what I'm doing at the moment, and remember I'm a foot away, so it looks goddamn awful. But I'm not really worried, because I know that as I get all these darks in there and these mid-tones in there, there's that highlight color. I haven't used it yet. But as we get into just putting that little bit of highlight into different spots, that's when the magic will happen. You see that twisting of that? And just do that and do the texture. And there's the frame finished. I jumped a little bit. The camera packed up. All I did was just paint some green in the back, did some motley green in the background. Because again, I don't want it to be about the picture in the background. I want it to be about Roger. So I just mixed up, I think, 4 or 5 values of green. You can see I've just mottled it in there, very abstract. Look at the picture frame. If you look carefully, it's not straight, it's bent, it's crooked, but all those darks and those lights, and you can see as I pull back now, as soon as I put that green in, bang, it comes to life. Don't second guess yourself, just fill it in, put the green in, and now I won't touch that until I've done Roger. Here we move on to the lamp. This is definitely not black again. This is quite a few shades up from black, and when I paint this lampshade, I actually mispaint it. Not that I'm terribly worried. You'll get used to me. I'm not really very stressed about stuff. Give yourself permission not to worry about stuff. Look, this is wet and wet. We can push and we can pull and we can fix. And as I just brush these in roughly, I know I've got a bit of a lampshade around there. It's a bit bent. I'm not really worried too much. I'm just checking my colours to see which one I'm going to put in next, and have a bit of a think about. Well, I'm looking at the colours and going, or the values, I should say. Sorry, guys, the values, and I'm going. Should I make it lighter now? Should I hold off a little bit? Do I put a little bit more of this dark in there? How am I going to do this? And this is fairly quick, the lamp, because there's not much in it. There's 4 or 5 shades in the lamp shade, and you'll see me just put the oranges in now. Yellow, red, and a bit of brown to kill it off. And when I say kill it off, I mean desaturate it. Again, small textural marks. We're not trying to do a big paint by numbers. We're not watercolorists, doing big swabs of colour and let it all run and then blend it in. Robert Mee is the guy I was thinking of in France. Great watercolorist, and he's a pretty good oil painter as well. So I can't take that away from him. And I do like his work. Yeah, g'day, Robert. But I do like his watercolors. Oh yeah, he's really, really good. Yeah, so you see all I'm doing is now just using that brush. That's just a pole I've got, and that's my slatted wall, by the way. If you want to know how I made that, just put something in the comments and I'll show you how I pop that together. Quite a few artists use slatted walls for their easels rather than and I've got an actual easel hanging on it as well, holding this on this 20 by 20 panel. So you see all I'm doing is just putting the darks around the outside. We've just put some lines through there now. There's some darks. They're actually using different shades. In comes more of a yellowy colour. And you kind of get used to what you're doing. We're almost to the end of this, guys. We've only got a little bit to go. We'll just put a few highlights in there. And the reason I'm brushing it downwards like that is because that's the direction it goes. And you see I've finished off. I've just done the orange, a few highlights underneath with that bit of a glow, and we'll work our way just down the stem, put a few of those darker marks in there, and it's kind of a bluey grey marks. Put a few orangey browns in there as we come down the stem, and we are just about done. I really wanted this one to be about that frame, show you how I was doing the background, but really show you how give yourself permission on those gilded gold frames, how easy they are. They're not a difficult thing to paint at all. All you've got to do is just put the darks and the lights and the values in the right spot, and magic will happen. And I'm just watching this now because I know I'm getting to the end. We've put a bit of a thing on the base there. All crooked, all bent, no one cares. Values in the right spot. It'll work. And there we go. We've put the background in Roger. I quite like it. We won't know until I've actually done Roger. Does it work properly? A couple of highlight spots in there. And there we go, guys. The finished background.
Well, thanks for joining me on that painting journey as we painted the background to Roger. Now, backgrounds are really important in portraits, but so we need to have them looking good, but not dominating. And I think that's what we're getting with this background here. But as I said during the video then, we're not really going to know until Roger is painted. That's the great thing about portrait painting. If we can do one of these little demos in the studio first, we can see what's working, what's not working, make our adjustments before we go into the main project. Thank you very much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Hit the subscribe, hit the like button, write me some comments. Always like to respond to them. And I'll see you on the next one.